If you've watched Andor, you probably noticed that the KX series security droids seem nearly indestructible, tanking blaster fire like Terminators. But yet in Rogue One, Jyn Erso drops one with a single shot. So, what gives? Is this just lazy writing, plot armor, or can we actually explain this? Now, bear in mind that some of this material is my own headcanon, as Star Wars lore hasn't officially confirmed every single detail. But everything I've put together here comes from the actual facts and evidence that we've seen in the movies, shows, and other media. So if I'm wrong, then the storyboard team is going to have to both disprove it and explain the inconsistencies. With that out of the way, let's go. First of all, not all KX droids are the same. Like for example, the KX that Jyn takes down in Rogue One on Jedha. Well, that's actually a Red Class lower tier model. You can tell this by looking at the collar of a ring around their bodies, with again these Red Class being the lower tier of KX droids. Basically, stripped down armor, cheaper frame, and likely older software. Now, that doesn't mean that they still can't pack a punch when needed. But generally, the Red Class models are used more so for patrolling civilian streets or security detail on Imperial bases. But the droids that we see in Andor, like those on Gorman, well, they're Yellow Class Elite KX units, the top tier variant. These, on the other hand, are used for high-risk security operations with reinforced armor, aggressive subroutines, and greater resistance to blaster fire. And we've actually seen these elite models before as well, as they were deployed during the Night of 1,000 Tears, dropped into Mandalore's surface with E-22 double-barreled blasters for full-scale planetary extermination. As after all, if you're gonna be taking on Mandos of Beskar armor, you need to fight fire with fire. Or at least the closest thing that you have to it at the time. So yeah, those are the ones that tank your shots, and as it would have it, K2SO is a Yellow Class Elite model. But at the same time, we do have to keep in mind that he was also rebuilt. And because of that, he likely doesn't have the same level of elite armor as other Yellow Class KX droids do. And that would explain why he relied on using body shields when fighting ISB agents instead of just absorbing the fire himself. Now, that's not to say that he can't take hits, he clearly can. But as seen in Rogue One with his rebuilt armor, he can only withstand so many direct shots before he's out of commission. So to summarize, red rings on a KX droid mean it's of a lower class, and yellow rings are higher class. And if you're wondering why blasters sometimes seem just wildly inconsistent in how much damage they do, well, then you're onto something. Blasters aren't precision laser beams. They fire charged plasma bolts, and those bolts can vary depending on things like weapon condition, gas quality, and even the atmosphere that they're fired in. Depending on the armor too, a fresh, well-maintained blaster might punch straight through it, while a worn or overheated one produces weaker blaster bolts that splash off. So whether it's Jyn's clean shot on Jedha or multiple weaker shots in Gorman, that variability matters. Even subtle factors like barrel length or the wear on internal focusing components could change bolt cohesion, meaning a well-placed shot might still behave unpredictably. And that brings us back to the droids themselves. Again, in Rogue One, Jyn drops a Red Class KX model with a clean shot. Meanwhile, in Andor, Cassian and the others struggle against the Yellow Class Elites, built for war zones. The same models used during the Empire's annihilation of Mandalore. And K2SO himself? He's a rebuilt hybrid who can take punishment, but not indefinitely. Factor in also the natural variability of blaster bolts, and suddenly what looked like an inconsistency actually starts fitting together. So no, Star Wars didn't contradict itself. It just didn't spell everything out. Different droids, different armor, different conditions, same universe.